Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Judi Glova, and today is day 4 of the Burnout Solutions series, and I have collected some of the best experts for you to teach you about how to have your own burnout solution. So I'm so excited because today is all about alignment, being able to communicate effectively, to strengthen your relationships, build trust, and prevent conflicts and heal pain. I want to remind you that we are going to be meeting every day throughout this online series in our Facebook group called the More Than Enough Women Circle. I'll be live in the evening, so don't miss the daily recap and the highlights. Plus, I'll be able to answer any questions that you have. I want you to make sure to be able to take actions on the tools and the skills that you learn each day. So if you haven't already, head over to the More Than Enough Women Circle and join us. Now, let's kick things off with Alana Pratt. And I just want to tell you a little bit about Alana first. She is an intimacy expert. She inspires open-hearted living and delicious sass. Featured on CBS, TLC, and Fox, this cum laude graduate of Columbia University is the author of 3 books. She's a coach to celebrities and the host of the sexy, empowering show, Intimate Conversations Live. And this interview, we are going to be focusing on what's really going on inside that's creating the burnout and how to change it in a lasting way. So, Alana, thank you so much for being here, and I love what you do.
Oh, thank you so much. It is great to be here. And since the bio, it's 4 books now. The latest book came from a webisode series that I created called Heart Splayed Wide Open. And the book is hot. And it's all about manifesting your beloved. And a lot of people think that's the guy, right? Or the partner, the gal. And really it's ourself. And that's a lot about what I'm going to be talking about today to heal burnout on the inside. That I believe a lot of women, and I'm a busy, driven woman too, but a lot of us are sort of top heavy, head over heart, giving more than we're receiving, and not having the depth, kind of like the roots create the shoots, not really having that depth of inner intimate relationship with self that allows us to have healthy boundaries, that allows us to say yes when we mean yes, and thank you, but no thank you when we mean no. So really glad to be here.
Oh my gosh, I love that. The roots create the shoots and the boundaries. Yes, that's totally what our audience is interested in. And our audience is, business women and busy business women that are overworked, probably really burnt out. And I have to ask you, one of my first questions is, considering that, you work with very high-powered women, why do you think we're having such an epidemic of overwhelm and burnout and anxiety? Like, why do you think that's happening these days?
In my opinion, I've been doing this for 18 years and I've been a sufferer of burnout. I've been through a horrible custody battle for 12 years. I've somehow kept afloat in my business and now I'm thriving more than ever. So I speak from a place of humility and vulnerability, as well as badass, kick-ass, whatever you want to say. And so what I see is happening is that we are in our masculine. Another way of saying is we're in our head, directive, leaders, we're kicking ass. We're very empowered women, but we're out of balance. Like I said before, the roots and the shoots. We don't have a strong relationship with our femininity. We think our softness is weak when it's actually our greatest strength. And we don't take the downtime, the me time. We don't know how to navigate guilt or shame for putting ourselves first. And it's almost like we compete on like who's more burnt out than each other. It's almost like it's a badge of honor, which is complete friggin' bullshit. And really, we the people that actually have a really happy, balanced life, like we don't like her. We're jealous of her. She's alone. She doesn't have any friends. But really, when you really think about it, the ones that sit around drinking wine, we all complain about who works so hard. It's actually not something that's an accomplishment I encourage us to be proud of.
Right.
It's a real sign of heart attack on the way. It's a sign of not being present with the children. It's a sign of taking our partners for granted. It's a sign of being competitive and bitchy with other women. It's not a good sign. And so
Mm-hmm.
to realize that if truly life is in balance, which it is, okay? So science tells us that everything's in equal balance, equilibrated, which
Mm-hmm.
means there's equal pleasure and equal pain,
Mm.
equal support and equal challenge, equal feminine, equal masculine. Like everything is this dance of equilibration. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, we're women, yet we have very strong, driven masculine sides. But most of us have like less feminine energy and way more masculine, and we're women. Hello, we need to like shift this.
Right.
Start to value our femininity. So femininity isn't all just about like chocolate and fluffy pink things. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, because I
in my
think a
life.
lot of people get confused about those terms of like,
Right.
well, what does feminine mean? And it's like, yeah, I am a badass kick-ass during the day, and that's who I have to be because, again, we tell ourselves that story of who we have to be during the day. And in some ways we do need to do that. But so what are you talking about specifically? Like, what are the key distinctions about femininity that you're talking about?
Yeah, this is such a great question to get clear on. So, femininity, the essence is things like receiving, allowing, this ability to just go with the flow, and oh my God, let go of control. That's a funny one, right?
Yeah.
It's about being in the body, in the fluid movement, and it's about gratitude and appreciation for the tiniest things. It's about fullness and giving from the overflow. It's about feelings. Oh my God, those other things. Let's just go for the fridge with some chocolate. Let's go on Facebook. Let's have a glass of wine. Let's not deal with feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And we've even called them bad. And
Right.
when they are actually a part of you, a part of wisdom, a part of your intuition, part of your instinct, this is out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why you're cranky, the reason why you're sad, the reason why you're scared, the reason why you're ashamed is because you're supposed to listen to that voice, honor that voice, sit in the fire, receive that voice, which is very uncomfortable. It's highly intense. It takes bravery. Now, no offense, but in our masculine, it just takes strength. It doesn't take a lot of intelligence. You just keep banging your head against the wall. It's not like you have to be smart or anything. You just push and push and push and push. But that's not intelligence, the intelligence of the heart, the wisdom of the soul. That if you actually sat in the intensity of the fire, which I'm not saying is easy, which is why, coaches like you, coaches like me, like I have a coach. Heaven forbid I would ever coach without having a coach. That would be totally out of integrity. But like, who's got my back so I can surrender? Surrender is another feminine quality. Letting go, surrendering.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, listening to what that cranky, scared voice says. Like, do you feel safe in your body? Do you like your body?
Yeah.
Do you feel safe on the planet? Do you trust you are taken care of? All of these are questions that if we spend time, like let's say in a morning practice, an evening practice, and not a girl's night out drinking, which is totally fun, but like a real, like a meditation time, a dance movement time, letting your body speak to you, journaling, being in nature, sitting in the bath and having a good cry, like these down times where you listen and honor the voice of wobbly as much as you honor the accomplished badass. Let's bring them back into balance, congruency. And oh, look at that. The burnout's gone because you've made different choices. You've replenished and nourished from the inside out. The roots, as I said, are deep and rich and moist. And you can sustain success and you can grow it in a way that works for you and your body and your family and your romantic life. Okay, I've been talking and talking. I'll shut up. Sorry.
So I actually do want to just point out that there's, you gave a huge list of these amazing feminine qualities that we may just gloss over. Like, we're not always conscious of them. So I really want to list some of the ones that I was able to write down is like receiving and allowing, going with the flow, as opposed to, being, the one thinking that you're driving the show and that you're in control.
Yeah.
And, being in our bodies, because so much of like you said, it's like we're in our heads, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're in our bodies. And sometimes being in our bodies means being even in the discomfort or the wobbliness or in the uncertainty, in the surrender. Because sometimes surrender can even feel a little bit wobbly or ambiguous.
Very, very
It's
terrifying.
It's like being in the sacred void. Like I like to think about a lot of women come to me, or I've experienced a lot of women coming to me when they're in what I call these sacred void periods, where they're in between what they've been doing and this new thing that they're trying to emerge to. And I'm like, yeah, you're in this sacred void. And they're like, yeah. And it's scary and it feels uncomfortable. And I'm like, yeah. And the more you can step into that and feel that and be comfortable in the discomfort, because I think we all think that we have to have our shit together all the time.
No, the perfectionism is another reason that's created the burnout, which is based in the presupposition of perfectionism is my worth is based on my accomplishments and achievements, not based on who I be, period. End of story. Done. Right? We don't spend, and that's the feminine, and that is resting in just because I exist, I am enough. That's it. You don't need to do shit. You're a gift already.
I know.
If you started your day from that place versus I'm not good enough, I need to be better. Who do I need to compete with? What do I need to accomplish? And then maybe at the end of the day, maybe one day out of 10, I might be enough. That's no way to live. It's no way to live. And this sacred void that you speak of, that's sitting in that fire, if we haven't cultivated, and this goes back to the vulnerability and the intimacy, an intimate relationship with ourselves. And if we don't have an intimate relationship with the divine, and if we don't feel safe in our skin, in a world that's kind of nasty sometimes, on the planet, if we don't have that sense of safety and security on the inside, we're screwed. I was going to say fucked, but I'm trying not to swear very much. So I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. So the safety must, I know maybe like I'm going to give you lots and lots of points today, but a real big humdinger one is draw a line in the sand. Today's the day that I choose to cultivate and source my safety from the inside out, not the outside in, ever again. And my worth from the inside out, not the outside in, ever again. And I still want you to be badass and kick ass and have a really successful life. But I'm saying the burnout is driven by a misunderstanding. You're backwards. We've got it opposite.
Oh, okay? Yeah. And I think that what you were talking about is having, that cultivating it internally, because that's where it all starts. It's like, that is, that's where it's the core. I talk about having like strong rebar. Like I definitely had this vision for myself as a young woman that I didn't feel like I had that strong rebar. I felt like I was really wishy-washy on the inside. And that's exactly what my life looked like on the outside. I was like accepting things and my boundaries were really like weak. And I would say, yes, I'm this person. And, oh, you think I'm that? Oh yeah, I'll be that person too. I was a chameleon. I mean, I just could be anybody. You just tell me who to be.
Yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, right? So Julia Roberts in that movie Runaway Bride, when they ask her what eggs do you like, and she's like, I don't know, what do you like? Like, that was me. Like, not that I'm Julia Roberts, but you know what I mean? It's like I just was like, just tell me who you need me to be and I'll just show up. But when you have that strong sense of who you are, and that your worth is not dictated by outside of you. You're not looking for the approval outside. It comes from the inside.
And knowing that every day when you walk out the front door, even though we just concur on that point of view, you're going to be judged by your outside. Yeah. Okay. So we still have to navigate with our eyes wide open, a world that is not talking about what we're talking about, or setting us up to be this way, because that way they can keep us in fear and sell us products, right? Sort of like marketing. This inner resilience, this inner relationship with yourself, the rebar, as you say, it's really easy to have a strong rebar where we got our shit together, where we're pretty proud of ourselves. That anybody can do that. The hard part is unconditional love. Love without condition means I love my wobbly part. Not just so you'll change with a good attitude in a second here, please. No, like if you never changed, like never, like for eternity, and you were always ashamed, I still love you. That is strong rebar. That means all the little ones inside, the one who's really good at tap dancing, the one who's got her money straight, the one who's exercising. Okay, those are easy. We like those. That's so easy to love them. But the one who doesn't know why he cheated on me and left me for somebody 20 years younger, doesn't understand why she got passed over for the promotion, and when she's clearly the better candidate, doesn't understand why she just can't feel safe in her skin and always looks in the mirror and finds the wrinkle or the wobble. Like, it's those parts that we resist, which makes them persist, which makes us keep seeking outside in versus resting inside out. So this work, I mean, if you're willing to do the work, it might feel like you're kind of taking 2 steps inward, and it might even feel, because you're so used to deriving your accomplishment from the outside in, it might feel a little boring or slow or what have you. But if you were a plant or a tree and I'm saying to you, hey, we should really build some roots, you're like, no, it's going to be fine. I'm like, you just wait till the first storm comes by, sister. You're going to fall over. So it's so worth it to build these roots and really come into communion. And a good word would be allowance. I mean, who really gets off on loving their cellulite? Like, that's kind of hard to love your cellulite. But can you come into allowance that, hey, I've pushed out a couple kids. I'm close to 50. This is what my body looks like. And I allow her to be who she is. And I choose to look at my body through the eyes of unconditional love. I allow who you are. I accept who you are. And if you go from resisting and judging, allowance and accepting, pretty soon that practice turned into, hey, hot stuff, you're not so bad, you're pretty good for 50. And you start to flirt with yourself, and then all of a sudden, radiance, life force energy, sacred life force energy, sexual energy, chi, this incredible energy that's spinning the planet and birthing flowers and giving you creative ideas for work, it starts to come through the pores of your skin, and you've got that it factor, and you're feeling like that it factor, and you've got your mojo, and you've got energy and vitality, and you sleep better, and you make better choices with food, and you're not even trying. It's just sort of who you are. It really starts to snowball if you're willing to do this inner work.
So now my next question is, we've been talking about it in theory, right? So, because obviously we want to let people to know what we're talking about and what we're focusing on. So I have to know, so how do you talk about maybe one of your client success stories? It's like, how have you helped a woman actually do this? Like, what have been the things that you've taught them? What have been the results? Like, what have you seen?
Well, okay. So the results for me is like 2 divorces, horrible custody battle, lose the house, go into debt, all that crazy stuff, to thriving in my career. I have the most wonderful, noble badass. He's so good to me. It's the first man I've been able to open my heart to ever since my best friend died when I was 16. You know, I'm just like, I look at him and his eyes go on forever. And I know that he is an outpicturing of the inner connection I have with the divine on the inside. It works. A relationship with my son, it doesn't look like most moms would want it to look like. After all those court battles, he kind of turned against me for a while. I was living with dad, but now he's like, hey mom, I just want to be like a guy. I just want to live with dad. Can I do that? Can you just be okay with that? And for me not to judge me and not to shame him, and just be okay to be the Disneyland mom and allow and see what's right about this, not what's wrong about me, and shift that. So those are some big personal challenges I've been through, and that I'm thriving. Clients have gone from like just a string of emotionally unavailable guys, or guys that are beneath her, because that way she could be kind of safe and in control, but she's not really ever turned on, and she doesn't really respect them, and she's kick-ass in her business, like this kind of pattern, to being absolutely deeply in love, engaged. I talked to him on the speakerphone in the car. I'm like, I'm going to be on your ass, honey, if you don't treat her well. But like all fun aside, like just successful stories, people changing careers, asking for their worth, getting raises, writing that book that they've been waiting to write these years, loving their body finally, and the weight falling off with ease, being able to orgasm. Letting go of control enough to actually orgasm with a partner, not just by yourself with your vibrator. So like, these are all sorts of different, what happens when you have this core intimate relationship with yourself and source and your body. This is how it outpictures. You value yourself. And that shows up in all these different ways.
I love that. I love how you're talking about how, you know, you've seen the benefits yourself. You've been able to, it's more or less like you're you were able to prove that, you know what I teach other people and how I live my life, and working with your clients that way. What would you say has been one of the most successful tools or skills that you've taught women that you've said, that you've seen, like, wow, like changes really start to happen when you teach them, you know, this one thing to do or this exercise? What is it?
Yeah. I often say to them, I can tell when you're putting sprinkles on that ice cream cone of shit. You're just shining me on with a good attitude and 10 more affirmations, a little mindset work, and the problem still occurs. Or maybe you've got relief for 2 days and then you're back down to that place again. So I really believe in efficiency. And so I'm always being trained to be a better coach. So I've taken every course under the sun, and I'm still in courses. So I'm always on my A game for my clients. But to me, it's all about quantum psychology. It's all about what's going on in our subconscious. It's all about cellular memory that gets stored in the body. We're all smart. I don't need to help people be more smart. Okay. But the things that they can't see, the blind spots, the things that I, as an intuitive coach, highly trained in everything I know how to do, but also really, I can just hear it. I go, that's not you. What's going on there? And then normally the next thing, because I'm safe and tender and non-judgmental, the tears come. I go, good, stay there. What's that? And then I take them through a trauma release process. I take them through an release process. I take them through what I've been trained in, the way the brain works, the body works, the image, the thought, the body sensation, and the emotion. It's stored in there on 4 levels. A lot of the different healing techniques out there only deal with like a couple, but when you nail them all, I've had people, the death of their brother, a trauma that they rated at a 10. In this process, it's 0. It's gone. Where did it go? I know he died, but I'm not sad anymore. It's like it's gone. Or my daughter was horribly raped and I had to fly her home. She was in a ditch in Europe, and I had to get her to the airport and then get her on the plane and get her, like, this kind of trauma as a mother. And like a 10 out of 10, it's a 2. It happened. I can't protect her even if she lives in my hometown. And deal like these like really tough stuff, okay? That we stuff down because we got to handle the bills and we got to handle the job and we got to do all this kind of stuff, but it never goes away. And so we never fully rest, and thus never fully receive. We're never able to like be replenished and nourished to the core. We never feel safe in our body or on the planet. So it's these trauma release exercises that I take them through that flatten. I mean, I was up in Canada last week, was it? I do these inner circle retreats, and a woman in her mid-50s, she's been working with people for like 12 years. We do a process, and I'm not saying it's not intense. I'm a bold woman and a tender woman. So I've got this safety and this, I got you. And I take them to a place where they've just never been willing to go all the way. And as I said, thought, image, body sensation, and emotion. And the process takes you through, and it was gone. She's like, I've been working on this for 12 years.
Wow.
And then it's been like 10 days later, 12 days later since our retreat. She just emailed me today, and she was asking who the cute guys in my email was today that I sent out in my newsletter. And I'm like, sorry, they're both taken. But anyway, I'm still feeling free. It hasn't gone away. It's not like these relief workshops I go to and then I'm right back to square one again. It's gone.
Yes.
And that's my commitment to my clients. Like, that's my commitment to me. And that's my commitment to them. I am vulnerable and honest, and I walk my talk, and I would never teach them something that I haven't already tried myself.
Yeah. And I totally align with what you're talking about with, you know, the psychology of the fact that, you know, emotions store so much of the thoughts, the images, the body sensations. And when we can actually release the emotion, that's when it goes away. And that's when, like you said, that they have that sense of freedom. Lasting. And be able to, lasting. Absolutely. It's sustainable. And I really get that there's definitely techniques that you walk them through. What's one thing that they can do for themselves? Because I think our audience really likes to have, like, what's the first step that I can take? What's one thing that I can do in order to put me on that path? You know, I may not be able to go all the way to releasing the emotion, but what are some steps that I can take for myself?
Yeah, a great process that I've created. I have this course called Heart Splayed Wide Open, and it's week 3. And it's called the Little You process. And it's the beginning of getting out of our head. And when the emotion comes up, imagining the emotion as little you. And instead of pushing her away, putting her in the closet, hitting her with her 2x4 so she shuts up, instead create some time. And we take them through this process.
Hitting her with a 2x4.
No, but isn't it what we do? Like, this is so not appropriate. I need to be badass right now. Sorry, go away. And she, over 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, she is, if you can imagine, hitting a child with a 2x4 for 40 years and sticking her in a closet. I take them through and I go, look at her. Not to be mean to yourself, but to see you're creating carnage. And you're trying to do your best. You're trying to win and succeed and have a good attitude. It's not like you're mean and evil. You just didn't know. All she needed was a hug. That's it. She just needed a hug. And so it just even makes me like teary. So I take them through this process. And as I take them back I love visuals and I'm all dramatic, whatever. But so we go into the heart and go into the back chamber and we bring our angels and so we go in there and we find little you. And I make it graphic and I make it real because it's just the sprinkles I said on the top of the ice cream cone of shit doesn't work. And we pick up that little you and we apologize. I had no idea that everything that I was doing, you're already scared. And then I rejected you. You're already feeling awful and I abandoned you. I made it. I didn't get that, but I didn't know all you needed was a hug. But the key to make that process work is the navigating of intense emotions. Because as soon as you go down and like, we could cognitively analyze a little journey there to find little you and good, we'll give her a hug and good for us and off we go to work. Like that doesn't do any good. Okay. No, I used to do that. I used to do that going to some workshops. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I've got that. Yeah, I got that emotion. Okay, now what do you want me to do? Okay, I can give her a pat. Hug. Yeah, done. Yeah, and that's us control freaks. And this is like another kind of thing that woke me up. One of my coaches said to me, oh, you're just so arrogant. I go, oh, no, I am just so humble. I'm not an arrogant woman. Oh, yes, you are. If you think you're in control, and the universe isn't, you're one arrogant bitch. I'm like, oh, you're right. I think I'm in control of it all. And I'm going to stay in my chin up and I'm going to control everything and do it. Oh, so when I surrender, that's actually courageous and appropriate relationship with the divine. I'm not in control of it all. Who am I to know everything?
That sounds like such truth. And it's like releasing. Somebody also told me when you truly release, it's from the neck down. It's not from the neck up. It's like,
thank you.
When you really release, it's like like
the heart, you think that's why I called it heart splayed wide open. So you go down, and as you go down, in no fun, everything that you have been suppressing your whole friggin' life is like, hi, here I am. And so that's why I really do believe working with people like you and me is so important, because it's like letting the Niagara Falls down, like a dam, like only in the beginning. And then it trickles out and you really have this beautiful relationship with little you, with your emotions, and you can navigate life with a lot of ease. But that initial time is big. So as you go in and you do this exercise for real, you're going to cry. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to feel how little you's feeling. And your job is to stay present, not fix her. As soon as you go into fix her, then that means you're judging her. You're saying how she is not okay. That's judgment. You got to be in there and breathe a lot and stay present and not fix and just apologize and be willing to stay there with her in the dark for eternity. That's what it takes. And that's no small order. But if they're going to have a practice, that would be what I would suggest. And if they want some help on like a home study level, that program is amazing. And I help people privately. Like that moment, if you do it not right, I don't want people to do right, wrong, good, bad. It's not about that. But fully, maybe is a better word. If you actually do that to the core, it'll flatten into nothing and you will be home.
That's a great way of saying it, because when you can have that conversation with little you and those emotions and have more compassion and more understanding. And, you had mentioned apologizing. I also like to think of it in terms of that sensation of forgiveness. Yeah. It's like you forgive yourself for judging yourself all those years that you weren't enough and that you weren't good enough at this or you weren't enough at that. and just being able to be in that power of forgiveness. Because to me, the divine is, definitely helps tap into that practice. And I also ask for divine grace, because there are times that I have had a hard time getting into those conversations with little me, because, and then I just have to surrender and say, please, I need divine grace to help with this, because I think I've been doing as much as I can, and I need help.
Yeah.
So
well,
surrender.
You're totally brilliant, because that's why I bring in all the angels, because we need some help here as we go towards little you, because I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard. And this beautiful moment happens. And sometimes it happens in the first time I take somebody through this process, or they listen in the home study. And sometimes it takes 10 times, 15 times. I don't understand grace, but I do know I can create space for grace to happen. It's a moment. It's almost like little Russian dolls, where you and little you, they come into your arms, and she accepts your apology. She forgives you pretty quickly most of the time. You forgive yourself, and you have this moment of oneness. And then all of a sudden, it's like little Russian dolls. There's little you, and you're holding little you, and you're like, whoa, the universe is holding me totally simultaneously. You're in the arms of the divine, and it's all the same thing. And that's the dual toroidal field, right? Quantum physics, inwardly for infinity, outwardly for infinity. You have the bodily experience of that inward home and the outward home. You're always held by the divine, and you're holding little you. So everywhere you look, you're safe, you're secure, you're approved of, you're appreciated, you're home. And it's a moment of grace, and it'll change your life forever. And that's not go backable. That's not changeable. That's lasting. And from that place, you don't have to try. You take action for sure. But you're not doing this pushing forward, trying to accomplish, be good enough, get approval. You're not, all the seeking goes away, as does the hiding and hesitancy and beating yourself up and procrastinating and all. You don't have to live in either of those places anymore. You can be home in yourself with the divine as a way of life. Doesn't mean there isn't still equal challenge and support. There is. How you address, like literally right before this interview, fraud charges. I'm like, excuse me, my credit card bill is not normally $19,000. What the is going on? So I'm on, and there's fraud, and there's all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I got an interview. It's in 10 minutes. I'm like, I can do this. I can totally handle this. Where in the past, that would have thrown me for a friggin' loop.
Right.
Betrayal and oh my God, I'm susceptible, and money. And when do they get all that? And I was just like, doon. I'm like, look at how you've grown, girl. Wow. And here we are, ready for, for this interview. Okay. This pump, away we go. But that's an example of life's going to happen.
Yes. And isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? It's like when you have to step up for something that you notice how far you've come. It's like, wow. And it's like all of that work that you've done, like you said, you invest in yourself all the time. I applaud that. And I totally, support how people, continue. It's continuous learning, right? We're here to be, sponges in this lifetime, learn as much as we can about ourselves, about other people, how we relate to other people. And I love the other part that you said, and I want people to remember this too, is that when you come home, there is that sense of the truth of who you are. It's like you come home to the truth of who you are, but that also is connected to the big truth. Like your truth is like when you connect to your truth and I connect to mine, like we can be miles and miles apart, and we can still have that same connection. And when you have that healing, that release, there is that sense of home, and it feels so yummy.
Yes.
Yet we juxtapose that to, our audience, that sometimes they're in their busy autopilot life, and it's not conscious. It's not top of mind. So what you had said before is also committing to cultivate that inner experience, and also committing to have that worthiness from the inside out. Yeah. Committing to do those two things, I think, is so critical. Like people need to commit, or women need to commit to themselves and their own growth and their own, making themselves their own priority.
Yeah. They can wait for their divine storm of a heart attack or a bankruptcy or a divorce if they feel like it. I mean, that's fine, but it's going to catch up with you.
No judgment.
It's just going to catch up with you. There's just no way as a conscious being on the conscious path that you can be unconscious and it's going to work for very long. So you're going to get woken up. So I encourage being proactive and always making yourself the priority. You know, when mom is happy, everybody's happy, or whatever you want to say. But it doesn't have to be long. It can be a 15-minute morning practice of just getting quiet and listening. I like to move first to get me out of my head, like a dance song or two, and then a quiet time and talk to little you. Hey, what do you want to let me know? Hey, divine, what do you want to let me know? Just be quiet. I like being in nature. I like letting beauty penetrate me. Femininity is about receiving. It's hard to receive judgment at work. Sometimes it's hard to receive a compliment. So just start with the beauty of nature. Receive the beauty of can't really see, but I've got like two. There's a rose here and there's a rose here. I've got like two things of roses on either side on my desk. I'm always surrounded by beauty, and it helps me to receive and relax and open to the moment, because I can get into my rigor, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So and then those things don't even come into our consciousness, right? I mean, I have my artwork behind me. I have artwork all around my house because
Matt Hanover.
That's how I surround myself with beauty, is by having art. But obviously nature is another way. But I also want to point out what you had said before, because I want to drive this point home. You've said it twice, and and both of the times we've kind of said it in jest. But you had said, you could wait for another heart attack to give you a message. But I also believe that, in my experience, people get multiple messages. They get little taps on the shoulder, they get little nudges, they get knocks upside the head, and then it becomes the heart attack, right? So it's like, pay attention to the little nudges and the little pokes. Don't let it get to that part and even burnout, I think, you can look at it as a gift. Because when you're there and you just can't get out of bed that day, that is your gift. That's your opportunity to say, okay, what do I need to learn in this moment? And it can be as easy as that. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be that. And I love that you pointed that out twice. And I always think that, a key message said 3 times is really important. So I always like to message those 3 times. But that's a golden nugget.
And let me tell a quick little success story about that. One of my clients, kick-ass lawyer, the breadwinner of the home, husband, 2 little children, complaining the husband's not stepping up, does it all herself, complaining this, does it all herself. And I just said to her one day, I go, may I be straight? Like, I know she's hiring me and I have the right to talk, but I said, still, permission, may I be straight? I go, I feel a train wreck coming. I don't know what it's going to be, a horrible car accident, you're going to get fired, something's going to hit you by the side of the head. Would you be so bold? Would you create with me a planned sabbatical for 3 months? Because she's told him for 2 years, I can't do this. And he's like, yeah. So she sat him down and said, look, I'm about to have a train wreck. I'm taking a 3-month sabbatical. That means for 3 months in a row, we're not getting the big fat lawyer salary. And I need to figure out, because I'm not happy. I'm not being a good mother. I'm not being a good lover. I'm feeling sick and adrenal fatigue. Well, this is the first I've heard of it. Are you? But here's the deal. And this is another big teaching point. When you hope things get better, when you wish things get better, when you need things to get better. And I'm dramatizing this on purpose because there's no power in those words. Choice is the only thing that moves anything. Okay. So she chose not to talk about a sabbatical. No, she was having one. And she went into talking to, headhunters. She did all these, creative, what would really make her happy. He woke the fuck up. He signed up for a men's group coaching thing. He got his accountability. He's on board with the kids. He was out there in the front lawn doing all the work and everything. And they're having great sex. And he's like, okay, we can do this, honey. And where are we did? Oh my God, she's feeling supported. She's feeling connected to the universe. The kids are happy. She's going to find a job that might still be law, but at least more aligned with her. She's turned on by him because he's stepping up. Because she, note to self here, made room. She was so masculine and so taking care of it. He didn't have to stand up. There's no room to stand up. She had to come back into her feminine, which is scary, out of control, but listening to her heart and soul in loving communication, but fierce loving truth. And he stepped up.
Great.
So, I'm not saying that was easy. And we're not there yet. We're still in the what's going to be happening. But every sign is pointing that this is the right direction to go. They're thriving. Uncertain. They're thriving in uncertainty. And they had all this certainty before, and the marriage was going down, the health was going down, everything was going down. Okay. So the certainty is overrated. Being in control is overrated. Feminine surrendering is going to end the burnout and allow your truth and guidance and wisdom to bubble up. And you've slowed down to listen and feel. And courage comes from an open heart. Open that heart up, and you can do this. And it could be the promotion that you've been waiting for, or the headhunter calls you, or it could be you meet somebody on an airplane and they do a job switch. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not saying we all need to like end our jobs and have no money. No, you get to have more money. Like it doesn't have to be worse. It could be better. Like, let's go to the conclusion that if I stop pushing so hard, everything's going to fall to crap. Maybe not. Maybe it's going to fall into place.
Yes.
You know? Because we've been holding on so tight.
And I think too, what you had mentioned is, you know, she had been saying it for so long. And it's like, there are times that we don't even hear ourselves. So being able to have that, you know, that coach, that person that can really reflect to you to say, you may not be listening to what you're saying to yourself, but this is what you've been saying. And if you continue that language, even, you're going to create the train wreck, right?
Yes.
It's like we create our own. So even when I hear people say like, oh, I'm having a crazy day, I'm having a crazy busy day, or, oh, I'm totally slammed, or, you know, whatever those words are, it's like, what messages are you giving yourself? You know, I even stop myself. I don't like to say crazy busy. I like to say, you know what? I'm busy with purpose, or I'm busy this moment and I'm going to be taking, like, I try to really make sure that my language is not like, I'm not training myself to be busy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm focused. I'm doing this task, but I can also end the task and then, you know, like I can take a nap and really just let go.
Yeah. One last little practice for people that they can take with them right now.
Yes. Yes.
Notice in your day, is your vagina clenched? Are your shoulders up? Is your brow furrowed?
Brow furrowed.
Because we don't know that we do this all day, because it's going to help us get through the day, right? No, it's going to make us need more Botox and stuff. So, so just notice, like
in our vaginas, we need Botox in our vaginas.
No.
I hope not.
But anyways, and then the next part is, okay, once you notice it, what you resist persists. If you try, then that's going to create like one foot on the brake, one foot on the gas. So the way through it is notice, exaggerate, feel why you're doing it. I'm scared. I'm afraid. I think if I don't, I'm going to get be real. Listen, exaggerate, listen, acknowledge. I'm actually fine. Yeah, I'm fine. No one's running through the door to hit me with a 2x4 right now. No, I'm all right. Oh, okay. All right. Very good. All is well. Feet on the floor. Vagina. Right, heart. And that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a short little practice.
Love that. That's a golden nugget right there. I absolutely love it. Yeah. So if there was one thing that you wanted our amazing business women to remember, that could be the golden nugget? Or do you think
that could be the golden nugget? And this is like sort of self-evident, but that you're a business woman. Okay. So, wow. Kind of profound. So remember, what's wonderful about being a woman? So if you can still kick ass as a woman. What does it feel good to be a woman? Feel good to be in your skin. Feel good to wear the clothes you wear. Feel good. Just the feeling of good being a woman. Bring that into your work, into your parenting, into your lovemaking, into your girlfriend time. And there's something about women that are, you know, more fluid. We can be dorky. We can be fierce. We can be fierce too. Don't mess with me. Like there's all these flavors, but like start to value all the flavors of your femininity. At least as equal as your masculinity. Heaven forbid more, right? After all, we are women. So for us to really value the wonderful qualities of our femininity and not to see our emotions as bad, but to cradle ourselves, cocoon ourselves, listen to ourselves, honor all these wonderful lessons that come from our body and our feelings as much as we value our brains and our determination. I value both. And our job, I think, if we value them equally, is a balanced healed from burnout in a lasting way life.
Oh, well, Alana, thank you so much. You have definitely brought your full feminine self and helped us from the inside out. Your energy, your vulnerability, your effervescence. It's just been so amazing to interview you. So thank you. This has been fantastic. And I also want to let everybody know that down below, don't forget, we have a free gift from Alana. So you can click that link right now. And if you've already purchased your Backstage Pass, you also get her bonus gift. Plus, there's no stress in that option because it's worry-free access. You don't miss a thing or have to wait. But if you haven't gotten that yet, it's okay. It's an amazing deal. And when you think about it, it's another burnout solution because you don't have to stress, worry, or wait for this game-changing content. So that link is down below as well. So instead of burning the candle at both ends, let your light burn brightly, knowing you are more than enough. Most importantly, that you can create your own burnout solution and you don't have to do it alone. So we will see you next time in the next awesome interview. And we'll see you today in our Facebook group for the Q&A and the recap.